Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kingdom of Nerds, a place where geeks, fanboys, fangirls, you know the rest of it. I'm Red Eyes Karibo, the ruler of this kingdom. In this great kingdom that we all enjoy, many video games are played, from many different genres. We enjoy first-person shooter games. We have certain sports games, like I enjoy a round of Tiger Woods PGA. And some of our younger residents of the kingdom enjoy childlike video games like Dora the Explorer that I personally can't stomach. But at the top of the pyramid of games, I find that I enjoy most fantasy RPG. Excuse me. Like games like Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Pokemon. I love me some Pokemon. But at top of all that has to be the Legend of Zelda series. A series that has been going on for quite a while now and continues to produce games that we all love. Throughout the course of the series, Link has used many different items to help him in many different situations. Some have really helped him, some are rather minor. So I've picked the ones that I think stand out above the rest, and I've put them all into a list so I can tell you my favorite items. So, without further ado, my top 10 items in the Legend of Zelda series. Quick disclaimer, I do not own Legend of Zelda, nor any of the content of this video. I found these images on Google specifically for it. And again, I am using Google Docs because I am doing this on my phone. Number 10. The boomerang is found in many different Zelda games, including Phantom Hourglass, Ocarina of Time, and A Link to the Past. In A Link to the Past, you find the boomerang while going deeper into the dungeon to rescue Zelda. There's a time when you fight a certain guard, and after you kill him, the chest appears holding this item. Well, not this one in particular, this is the image from Ocarina of Time, but you know what I mean, bear with me. In Ocarina of Time, you find the boomerang inside Lord Jabu Jabu. You come across a room full of those bubble-like monsters. And I don't mean the bubbles like the fiery skulls, I mean like actual floating, damage-dealing bubbles. A little bit of advice, by the way, for taking those on. Just stand in the middle of the room and use Din's Fire. Often clears them up easily. And I find this item very useful in different situations because not only can it be used to stun and sometimes damage enemies, like with the electrified jellyfish and side lure Jabu Jabu, but it can also be used to bring items to you, like the gold Skulltulas, well, the tokens. And it's a ranged weapon that doesn't really have a lot of distance, but it can still be used in a tight spot if you don't want to get your hands dirty. In A Link to the Past, there's a regular blue version, and later you find a red magical version that I believe deals more damage. I would put this higher up on the list, but thanks to Breath of the Wild, just like everything else you find in that game, it breaks. Excuse me. I love Breath of the Wild. It's a great series. Well, it's a great game in the series. But why does everything have to break? I'm sorry, but I think they could have left that feature out. Because it's very hard to find reliable weapons. Anyway, the boomerang comes in at number 10. Number 9. The Bombos medallion from A Link to the Past is obtainable when you find a certain stone, I believe up on Death Mountain. And when you read from the book, transfer what's on the rock, you get the Bombos medallion, which at its use at a huge chunk of MP, I'm very sorry, summons a spiral of fire around the screen and then causes multiple explosions, killing most, if not all, of the enemies in the area. Now, it's a useful item, and I would put it higher, but the MP cost is outrageous. You only get like 3 to 4 uses per MP bar. I mean, yeah, you get the half magic stat later on in the game, so you're able to use it a lot more often, but still, the cost is outrageous. However, It's on this list because I feel like it stands out above the other two medallions available in the game, Ether and Quake. So the Bombos medallion from A Link to the Past comes in at number 9. Number 8, the Sheikah Slate of Breath of the Wild is the first item you obtain in the game. It's a very useful item that basically combines the powers of, like, the Phantom Sword, the bombs, the Ice Rod, and some sort of magnet. It's all rolled into one, making this item a very, very useful tool. Not only is it used as an offensive weapon, it's also used as your navigation. It's your map. You can put stamps on certain parts so you know where you're going. It can even be used as a camera, in case Link wants to take a selfie. As it's only in Breath of the Wild, not the other games, it comes in at number 8, but all around it's a great item and one of the greatest Link has ever obtained. Number 7. The slingshot is found in many games, including, I believe, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, and Ocarina of Time. In Ocarina of Time, you find it inside the Great Deku Tree at a certain chest. While there are circumstances where you're able to exit the room without using the slingshot's seeds, it is a necessary item for completing the game and for beating the boss inside of the Great Deku Tree. The way this item works is that it uses seeds that you can sling at enemies. Now, it's a minor ranged weapon, so it doesn't have that much distance. But just like the boomerang, it's an all-around useful weapon that's great if you don't want to get your sword all bloody. And all around, it's just a great item. I'm glad they added it into the games. I remember as a kid, I tried to make these things all the time, and I never really could. But anyway, the slingshot comes in at number 7. Number 6. Yeah, if you didn't expect to see a bow on this list, then what the heck were you thinking? The bow is found in just about every Zelda game out there, obtainable in many different ways, often within the first dungeon. Link's used this trusty ranged weapon in almost every installment of the series, has wielded bows of many different designs. This one here, I believe, is from either Skyward Sword or, I think, Twilight Princess, actually. Anyway, not only has he used a number of bows, but he's used a number of different types of arrows, from the silver arrows from A Link to the Past to the bomb arrows of Breath of the Wild. Some cost MP, some don't. But either way, Link has used this item on several different occasions, and has often used this item to defeat Ganondorf in the final battle with a certain type of arrow. We'll be getting to that later on in the list. Anyway, I would just like with the boomerang, have it higher up in the list, but now, thanks to Breath of the Wild, they break. Anyway, this comes in at number 6. Number 5. The hookshot is also an item that's appeared in many different Zelda games. I know in Link to the Past, you need to get across certain ledges. In Ocarina of Time, you actually find an upgrade to the hookshot called the long shot. And in games such as Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, when you have the double claw shot, you can swing across places like Spider-Man. Spider Link, does whatever you can think. You did not hear that at all. My personal favorite design, anyway, for the hookshot, has to be the one from Majora's Mask. I mean, look at that picture. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. Though I'm kind of wondering how he gets to shoot. If you can obviously, there's no trigger on there, so maybe it's like a grip trigger. Not sure. But anyway, I love the hookshot's uses. I love what it can do, and all around, it's just an excellent item. It can be used offensively and to navigate. It comes at number 5. Number 4. The Ocarina of Time. Need I say anything else? Not really, but I'm gonna. The Ocarina is found not only in the game named after it, but also in Majora's Mask, which is a direct sequel to it. It can be used to play songs, of course. I actually had an ocarina one time. It played melodiously. But it can be used to play songs, make things move, make it rain, quite literally. make the sun go up, go down, all that good stuff in Ocarina of Time. In Majora's Mask, it can actually be used, if you play the Song of Time, to turn back the clock. Start over 3 days. It can be used to fast forward through time, so you don't have to wait so long. And can even be used. You can even play the Song of Time on the Ocarina to slow down time. Honestly, where the heck can I get one of those? Anyway, I also included this item on the list because, like I said, I've actually owned a 12-hole ocarina that I loved. I actually tried to learn to play a whole bunch of different Zelda songs. Had the Bolero of Fire, the Serenade of Water, a whole bunch of Zelda songs down. Some of them were easy to play, some weren't. But anyway, I just love the design of the Ocarina of Time. I look at it. It's amazing. But I felt like I had to include this on the list because it comes from the greatest game of all time, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Number 3. The Majora's Mask version of the Big Goron Sword. The Great Fairy Sword is found after you get all 15 stray fairies in the Stone Tower Temple and take them to the Fairy Shrine in Ikana Canyon. After she's restored her former self, she will give you this item as a thanks, and you will be able to go on your merry way. Now, this item is very powerful, dealing 4 times more damage than the standard Kakiri sword, which, by the way, does not look like the original Kakiri sword, but I'm not going to get into that, and has much greater reach. And since it doesn't count as an actual weapon, like a sword, it counts as an item you could use. Even if you're jinxed by a bubble, you can still use it to deal damage. Also, I think it makes Link look really badass since he's able to wield a sword that's bigger than him. Also, just look at that design. I know I said about other items, but really look at this one. This is the definition of gorgeous. From the black roses on it to the colors of nature, this... I said about the Ocarina of Time, but where can I get one of those, dang it? It's an absolutely amazing weapon. I wish I had one, and it deserves its number 3 spot on this list. Number 2, the Hylian Shield. The shield you think of when you think of Legend of Zelda. When you think of Link. This artwork in particular is from Skyward Sword. The Hylian Shield is known throughout the games as the greatest shield. In Skyward Sword is the shield that will never break, and in Breath of the Wild, if you get this shield, you're pretty much set. Its endurance is so good, you think it'll never break. However, just like everything else in Breath of the Wild, it does break, but it can usually be bought for a measly 3,000 rupees. I know that sounds like a lot, but with how much stuff Link comes across, I'd be surprised if one can't afford it. Gotta clean out a bit of your inventory, but it's definitely doable. Anyway, it can be found in Castletown Ocarina of Time for 80 rupees, or 40 if you get the special discount. And just look at that. I wish I actually had a copy of that shield, because that is amazing. Anyway, the Hylian Shield comes in at number 2. Honorable mentions. You might want to start a pot of coffee, because there's a lot of them. The Big Goron Sword is found in Ocarina of Time. You can get it through the Big Goron Sword trading side quest, which is quite possibly one of the most lengthy side quests in the game. It deals twice as much damage as the Master Sword, which I think is total bullshit. The Master Sword should be the strongest weapon in the game, but who am I to judge? Anyway, and it has much longer reach, with the sacrifice of not being able to use a shield. It even has a little Goron symbol at the bottom, if you can see that. There is a purchasable copy, or a ripoff, rather, of the weapon found in the game, but it breaks in no less than 10 hits, and I feel that kind of ridicules the Big Goron Sword's strength, and yeah. But it can also be found in the Oracle games, Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages. It takes up both of Link's item slots, showing the power and just greatness of the Big Goron Sword. It also shows up as an amiibo in Breath of the Wild. However, it breaks. One of my favorite YouTubers, Zelda Master, Says he would have found that more acceptable if they just called it the Giant's Knife, because that's the one that breaks in Ocarina of Time. And I find that quite understandable. I see where he's coming from there. But no, they named it the Big Goron Sword. Anyway, I feel like it deserved to be an honorable mention, because it's not as awesome looking as its Majora's Mask counterpart, but it's still an awesome weapon and a excellent ally. The Phantom Hourglass. I don't think I need to say what game it comes from. Its name is in the title. This item is pretty much necessary for traversing through the Temple of the Ocean Kings, as it uses the Sands of Hours instead of depleting your HP while going through the temple dealing with the curse. And later on, when the Phantom Sword is forged, this item becomes its hilt, leaving you completely invulnerable to the effects of the curse from the temple, and can actually stop time, which is necessary for defeating the final boss. I personally don't know too much about Phantom Hourglass myself, so that's why I'm putting it as an honorable mention, but it's a great item. The spinner can be found in Twilight Princess, and is not only an item used for traversing through areas, it can also be used as a combative weapon, as for, like, when you're battling Star-Lord. I put it as an honorable mention because, like with Wind Waker, I haven't really played Twilight Princess. I plan to in the future, though, because the graphics are amazing. But anyway, I felt like this item deserves to be on the list because it saves Link a bit of walking, and I know exactly how it feels walking all the time. So this item is a lifesaver. The Arrows of Light. Found in most Zelda games. This particular artwork, by the way, is from Wind Waker. This item is used to shine away the darkness, and is often used to help defeat the final boss. However, as it only appears at the end of the game more often than not, I felt like it only deserves to be an honorable mention. Plus, it's pretty MP costly in games like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, but it's a great item all around. It deserves to be somewhere in here. And the number one item in all the Zelda games, the Blade of Evil's Bane. The weapon to seal away the darkness, the Master Sword. If you didn't expect to see this item somewhere on the list, you, my friend, are no Zelda fan. The weapon you think of when you think Legend of Zelda. This blade is found in many different ways and through many different games, however, it's always found the same setting. Inside his pedestal, just waiting for the chosen hero. Starting out as the goddess sword from Skyward Sword, it becomes the Master Sword by being tempered from the three sacred flames, and ultimately becomes the weapon that is used to take down Demise and the many incarnations of Ganondorf. My favorite game that features this is Ocarina of Time, for obvious reasons. In Breath of the Wild, it is the most reliable weapon because while it does run out of energy and needs time to charge, it is usable over and over and over, unlike every other weapon in the game that breaks. Also, it glows when around evil, like Ganondorf, thus dealing twice the damage, and can be tempered in the game, making it glow all the time, so it's always dealing double damage. It can be tempered in a lot of games, actually, including A Link to the Past, where it can be tempered into the Golden Sword, dealing way more damage than the average sword obtained after you find your uncle dead. R.I.P. Uncle. Anyway, a common trait of the blade is that it's able to shoot beams when you're at full HP. Like in Breath of the Wild, when you're facing the Calamity, I believe if you're at full HP, it'll shoot beams when you swing. And in A Link to the Past, it'll also shoot beams when you're at full HP, but it only does the amount of damage as a average sword swing. Though, like with other ranged weapons, it's a great thing to use if you don't want to get your hands dirty. All in all, though, this is the greatest weapon in all the games and the greatest item in the entire series. Hats off to the Master Sword. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and click on notifications. That way you'll never miss a video. Let me know what you guys think of my list in the comments below. And until next time, this is Red Ice Garibo, ruler of the Kingdom of Nerds, signing out.